Yo, what's up, guys? It's the Moral Compass, Mark Poulton. As you can see, I'm here by myself. Where's Phil? He's running late. He's on his way home from work. He just messaged me, said he's running a couple minutes late. Traffic is bad. I figured I'm here, man. Might as well go live. We got Darren Wagner in the chat. He's one of those crazy main event mafia guys. He loves Phil. He loves the Pod Prophet. We got Leandro. Hail the Moral Compass. Thank you, Leandro. Leandro's ready to talk some AEW in the inner circle. So I'm not going to start with the wrestling talk. Well, it's definitely going to be wrestling centric, but I'm not going to get into our usual Impact Wrestling AEW results just yet. I'm going to try to give Phil some time to get here. But did anyone happen to watch WWE WrestleMania Backlash last night? A lot of people are talking about it online. There's one match in particular that people are going crazy for, and that was the Zombie Lumberjack match. I'm curious what you guys think of it. Overall, I thought the show was really good. I think I actually enjoyed it more than WrestleMania. I thought all the matches were pretty good. The best match, in my opinion, was Roman Reigns versus Cesaro. The whole storyline between the Usos has been great. And you know, I don't know. I feel like the Usos have, especially Jay, has really like upped his stock the last year. Darren Wagner says he didn't see it. His cable boxes broke. Well, I'm going to talk about it a little bit, Darren. But my second favorite match was actually Miz versus Damian Priest, and it was a lumberjack match. And early in the show, they send John Morrison to check on the lumberjacks. He's going to try to, schmooze them and make sure that they favor Miz in the match and like beat up Priest when they throw him out. And and he goes and knocks on the lumberjack's door, opens it up, and it's real dark and foggy in there. And then like some zombies wander up to the to the front of the room, and Morrison is freaked out and he runs away. Oh, we got Past Master Dan here. You really like wrestling, don't you? Oh, I love wrestling. Comics, wrestling, heavy metal. That's like the trifecta of nerds, I think, and I love them all. But so Morrison runs away, and the zombies start escaping the dressing room, their zombie dressing room, and he goes and tells Miz, and Miz doesn't believe him, says he's it's all in his mind, and Morrison's like, yeah, maybe it is in my mind, and so eventually the match happens. Miz makes his entrance. Damian Priest makes his entrance. And then the lumberjacks make their entrance, and they start stumbling down the ramp, and they're coming from all sides, and they're zombies. It's a promotional tie-in with Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead. So we're really having a zombie lumberjack match, and Morrison takes off. He doesn't stick around, so Miz is by himself. Damian Priest and Miz are fighting. They throw each other outside the ring a couple times. The zombies start going after them. At one point, they both end up outside the ring, and they're fighting zombies. And they back into each other. They look at each other like they're going to fight, and then they start cleaning house, beating up all the zombies together. They get back in the ring. Miz goes to high-five Damian Priest. Damian Priest, goes to return the high-five. Miz kicks him in the goes to kick him in the gut, but Priest knew what was going to happen and stopped him. Damian Priest ends up getting the win. Morrison comes out at one point. He's fighting zombies. He's doing like his all his gymnastic moves and stuff. It was pretty awesome. But the zombies end up getting a hold of Morrison, and they eat him. They drag him over the barrier, and you don't see him. but you assume off camera he's getting killed. So when Damian Priest wins, the zombies start coming into the ring. He takes off. He leaves Miz knocked out, lying on his back in the middle of the ring, and all the zombies climb on top of him and they start eating him. and that's how the match ends. And I'm sure Miz and Morrison will be on Raw tonight. So it's silly. It's kind of like I don't know. In this pandemic, they've gotten kind of silly with some of their matches. The Money in the Bank, where it took place in Titan Tower, the horror show with Rey Mysterio getting his eyeball popped out. And I've enjoyed all these things. I actually, Phil and I talked about this before when they did the horror show last year. They should just go all out and make. And I was joking. They should have zombies around the ring as lumberjacks, and they took me up on my idea. So I feel like I don't know. I'm kind of like Dusty Rhodes, and this is my Great American Bash, or this is my Starrcade. This zombie lumberjack match. I'm going to take credit for it. Past Master Dan says his dad went to school with Dick the Bruiser. Oh, that's awesome. That Dick the Bruiser, old school AEW or AWA guy. Darren Wagner says yes, the nerd hat trick. Yep, comics, heavy metal, pro wrestling. Amanda B says, hey, bring on the oil. We're going to talk some oil. I'm trying to give Phil some time to get here. He's running late. Hicks Villain says, everyone that complains about zombies cheered for a dead man for 25 years. Exactly, yeah. I mean, Undertaker, basically a zombie, the dead man. So I thought the match was a lot of fun. And I would be all for it. If they did like a horror show again, or if they brought Halloween Havoc back for the main roster, make it all horror fun matches. Bring back the zombie lumberjacks. What else? An eye. Do an eye for an eye. Sure, another wrestler can lose an eye. Just don't limit to Rey Mysterio. But yeah, Backlash was really good. I recommend it. The Cesaro Roman Reigns match is incredible. It looks like Cesaro's not going to be in the main event picture after this match. Well, I mean, Seth Rollins, it looks like he's being paired up with Seth Rollins, and I guess Seth Rollins is considered a main eventer on SmackDown, but it's a shame that he's already out of the title picture. Hopefully he's not, but that's the way it seems like it's going. I got this over here today. I had to go during my lunch break. I had to run to Target. And of course, when you're in Target, you have to check the toy aisle. I got this. I was looking for this figure for a long time. This is Big Van Vader from the WWE Legends line by Mattel. I figured I'd do an unboxing right here. This is really badass. This is Vader in his like Japanese mask, but they included the more traditional WCW mask, and they included this awesome headgear that he wore in Japan, as well as when he his original, I guess, NWA WCW run. You also get a regular Vader head and 2 hands, but pretty much what I stick to now with the Mattel figures is WCW guys. So I was excited to see this. Going to open it up. Here's a look at the back. It's part of the Legends line that has Brutus Beefcake, John Cena, and DDP part of it. Don't even care about preserving the box because I open up all my figures. This is kind of a re-release for Vader. I think the head is new, but they released them before with this headdress. A little known fact, when Japan was looking for someone to play the Big Van Vader character, it came down between Leon White and the Ultimate Warrior. And they went with Leon White. I couldn't imagine Ultimate Warrior being Big Van Vader wearing this headdress. Vader was just so great in the role. So he's doing the Vader hands, which are the Spock hands, basically. Hicks Villain says, need a Vader with a pop-out eye. People have been selling them as customs. I've seen it. It looks pretty awesome, actually. His one eye is popped out, and that's based on his match with Stan Hansen in Japan when they were just beating the crap out of each other. And Hansen hit him so hard his eye popped out of its socket, and he wrestled the match because he's Big Van Vader. Jam Create says, have they ever done a Vader bloody variant figure? As far as I know, they haven't. Mattel doesn't really do bloody figures, and I don't think Jax did any either. As long as he's part of the WWE Legends line, I wouldn't expect there to be any bloody Vader figures. Maybe he has like an old Japan figure that I'm not aware of, but as far as I know, nothing bloody. So here's the other Vader head. I'm going to pop on his mask. I'll probably swap this out because this is more the WCW Vader that I grew up with. Although I'm going to just put the headdress on him because it's so cool looking. It's actually pretty tough to get this mask on. Can't get it over his nose. Oh, well, this might have to wait for later. But here we go. Big Van Vader. He's got the Vader hands. He looks great. This is up there with one of my favorite figures, I think, already. Probably my favorite from Mattel recently is the Roddy Piper Mr. T2 pack from WrestleMania 2 when they had the boxing match. But yeah, this one's really nice. I'm glad they re-released it. So Jam Create says they should do a Boy Meets World Vader figure. Yeah, that would be awesome. He was the dad of one of the characters. I forget which character, but yeah, that was an awesome episode. Eddie Winkler, it's Veda time. What's up, Eddie? Darren Wagner, that's cool. Yeah, it's a great figure. So it looks like Phil's running a little later than I expected. So I just want to thank everyone for we closed out Sea Dog and Codename Killswitch, the in-demand store over the weekend. We ended up over $26,000. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much. We surpassed the first campaign by a lot, so I really appreciate that. Clint finished up the pages, or at least he's like almost done. I think he has like one page left. Andrew Dahlhaus is coloring them. I'm scripting them. Same with Graveyard Shift. We're actually going over the final letters. We've been going over all weekend. Shout out to my son Chase, who my wife was away this weekend, so it was just me and him, and he was a champ. I think I spent like 9 or 10 hours with John and Eric Weathers on a live stream, just going over the final letters for Graveyard Shift. So I appreciate him letting me get my work done. Hicks Villain says he played Ethan Suplee's character's dad. That dude is Jack now. Yeah, I've seen Ethan Suplee lately. Dude's ripped. If anyone hasn't seen him, you wouldn't recognize him from his My Name is Earl days or Mallrats days. He looks incredible. Jam Creates, I've been watching old events with my daughter. She loves Vader. Next on our list is In Your House Final Four. Eddie Winkler, main event misfits always show up on time, our own time. Yeah. Phil marches to the beat of his own drummer, man. I'll probably hop back in the chat. All right. You know what? Phil's not here. We're going to talk wrestling. Well, we're going to start it off with Impact Wrestling. They had their pay-per-view. They had their pay-per-view this weekend. Last week's episode was the lead into that. So it starts off match one, number one contenders match for the Knockouts Championship. It's Rosemary versus Havoc. Havoc gets the win. Rosemary's kind of in this role right now where she's just putting people over. They put back Decay, but Decay's really stable now that just puts other people over. It's a shame. Maybe the depth in the women's division for Impact, unfortunately, just isn't there right now. So they just got to keep recycling the same names over. They brought in Taylor Wilde, who, if you remember last week when we talked, or the 2 weeks ago when we talked about her, we're all on the same page. We love Taylor Wilde, but she's not in the main event picture just yet. So they're recycling all the same people over and over, and now it's Havoc's turn again to get a title shot. I don't see her winning the gold. I think eventually we're going to get Deonna Purrazzo versus Taylor Wilde, but we just have to be patient and wait a while. Eddie Winkler hopes Phil is okay. Yeah, he's just he's coming home from work and he got caught in traffic. So yeah, Phil's fine. He messaged me. Just make sure he hasn't sent any updates. No, still on his way as far as I know. So Havoc gets the win. She's number one contender. Spoiler for yesterday's pay-per-view. Oh, speak of the devil. Here he is. Better never McNulty.
Hey, it's when you get done work at 4:30 and then you got to get home from Trenton traffic. And you have drama at work on your way out. I was just like,
You got to tell the people it's the Pod Gods Day.
I know. I have some real heat with the operations manager at my work. No, Amanda. No, just for that, there's no oiliest wrestler of the week now, Amanda. And you brought it all upon yourself.
They were really worried about you. Eddie was hoping you were okay. I was like, he's just caught in traffic. Nothing nefarious happened to him.
Yeah, it's all well. You got to avoid the bums on the street trying to open up your car door to get money, right? And I'm just like, dude, and I feel like I owe them an explanation. I'm always bringing the class to the Pod Gods, bringing it to Best Friend Show.
You're over, Phil.
Hey.
So I just started Impact. I was talking about. Well, I did a Big Van Vader unboxing.
Oh, sweet!
Look at this.
That's awesome. That's legit.
And we were talking a little zombie lumberjacks.
Oh! I didn't get to watch. That's what I'm gonna watch tonight because I got nothing else to watch. I'm gonna watch the zombie lumberjack match. How was it?
I loved it. You know I would love it because I loved the horror show last year.
Yes, we both. I mean,
I suggested this, Phil. Do you remember?
Yes,
I said they should just go all out and they should have zombies around the ring.
That's right, you did. That's right. WWE has they are watching because we got someone trying to steal my gimmick on live TV.
Main event Jey Uso.
No. There's only one main event, and I've been in it since Slammiversary. How dare someone? They're watching the show. They have to.
Yeah. Yep. They probably got I don't know, maybe not Stephanie, but Shane's probably sitting down with a notepad writing down ideas.
He's like, yeah, and then we'll add zombies as lumberjacks.
Phil, you're lucky you showed up because Hicks Villain was getting his resume ready. He was going to be my co-host.
I know. And Hicks already called the oiliest wrestler of the week on Best Friend Show.
Oh, did he? I don't remember.
Well, he's we have the same opinion on the oiliest wrestler of the
Okay,
week.
because I really racked my brain this week for it. I didn't think anyone stood out. So I actually have a two-time winner
Same
this
here.
week.
I have a
Okay,
two-time winner as well. I think we're on the same page.
all right. So I just finished talking about Havoc versus Rosemary, number one contenders match. Havoc wins. Rosemary's in the spot where she's just putting people over at this point.
Yeah, and it I don't know. They're so confusing because the end result was these weekly pay-per-views I don't think are doing much for Impact storylines. I feel like since they've introduced them, they've become more of a hindrance than they have been, you know, a positive, because I feel like they're automatically just sort of like skyrocketing storylines like just to end within a week, and you're losing that continuity that was separating Impact from the batch. So
Yeah. So, spoiler, I'm just going to work in the Under Siege results as we go through Impact. Havoc, number one contender. She loses to Deonna Purrazzo. She submits. Uh, they're just recycling people until eventually we're going to get Taylor Wilde versus Deonna Purrazzo, in my opinion.
right, agreed.
Yeah. Jam Create said, so glad to hear someone else enjoyed the zombies. I loved it. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And Miz and Morrison, I think, were the perfect guys to do it with because they're up for anything.
Yeah, this better lead to Taya Valkyrie, whatever, Frankie Monet coming up and teaming up with Morrison and giving him a championship run, because the guy has been nothing but a true team player since coming back, you know, keeping the
Well,
same music, teaming up with the Miz, putting over the Miz.
well, I don't want to spoil things, Phil, but the zombies ate Miz and Morrison last night. So
Um,
I expect them to show up on TV as zombies. They better.
Morrison's career needs resurrected anyway, so.
All right, match 2 from Impact, X Division Scramble. We got Petey Williams versus Ace Austin versus AC Romero versus El Phantasmo versus TJP versus Rohit Raju. There was one star in this match, and he shined brighter than anyone, and that is El Phantasmo. This guy's incredible.
Can we talk again, another thing that they hotshotted someone who was, again, for pay-per-view purpose only, but this guy rules. I loved it.
He walked all 4 ropes, and then
Mhm.
he scooped up. Who did he scoop up? Ace Austin,
Ace Austin.
and did uh, basically an FU driver off the top rope down to the ground onto a pile of people. It was incredible.
The and he's got star presence, man. But anyone who comes from, I feel like the New Japan always has a presence about them. I just think
Yeah.
that company does so well building up stars before they become internationally known.
And the week before, he loaded his boot and knocked out his opponent with the super kick and made the ref, instead of raise his hand, raise his foot in victory. I thought that was great.
The dude's amazing. I love anytime he comes on my screen. I'm like, yes, Phantasmo's here, and he's about to. It's those little things that put him over, and I think that gets him over, that stands him out from the pack. Like, no one's coming up with that finish but him, and
Yeah.
that's what's awesome.
So, spoiler, Phantasmo loses to Josh Alexander. I don't mind this. I like that they're building
Mhm.
Josh Alexander, but I wish we got a bigger build to the matchup between Phantasmo and Josh. I have a feeling that Phantasmo is not going to be around a long time.
Mhm.
He was just there for this one set of tapings, and then they're going to find a new X Division contender for Alexander to face off against.
Mhm.
Jam Create says Zombie Miz and Morrison would give a new meaning to the name Johnny Drip Drip. Eddie Winkler, Phantasmo is a character in my Sovereign Wolf book too. Awesome, man. So match 3. Oh, before the next match, we get backstage. Susan and Kimberly are in Scott D'Amore's office, and she wants a match with Tennille Dashwood and Taylor Wilde. And Kimberly doesn't seem to be on the same page, but Scott D'Amore gives Susan her wishes, and they're going to have a match at the pay-per-view. Susan's Sue Young, Susan, Susie. I really like her.
I think she's done an excellent job of reinventing herself and knowing that when she's not in a storyline, she seems to work her way in a storyline. There's no way Sue Young should be involved in this storyline at all. Yet here she is as a Karen character.
Yeah. So match 3, we get Willie Mack versus Kenny Powers. Sam Beal. Sam Beal, they should package this guy as a Kenny Powers type character.
Sam Beal, when he came out, I said, now this is a jobber. I love when jobbers look like jobbers. And man, that hair did not disappoint. I love Sam Beal. He's the jobber's jobber.
Not only does he look like Kenny Powers, he reminds me of a young Barry Horowitz. He just needs to start patting himself on the back. Mo Big, Sam Beal reminds me of Ricky from Trailer Park Boys. Yeah, he's a character. They have to do something with him. Even if his character is just to lose, he needs to be a regular, I think, on this show. There's something about him.
Did you see who's been on AEW Dark as of recently?
I saw Smart Mark Sterling was on trying to recruit Jada Cargill.
And Marty the Moth, who got him. He's now like Marty, like Cassius or whatever. But the man got himself in really good shape, far from his Lucha Underground look. So it's pretty cool to see the transformation. I would not be surprised if he ends up coming up to the main roster, maybe being part of Team Taz, where the good talent goes that they don't know what to do with.
So Willie Mack gets the win. He hits Sam Beal with the pop-up forearm and the top rope splash for the 1, 2, 3. Right after the bell, W. Morrissey comes out, beats up Willie Mack. W. Morrissey is rough to pronounce. Just call him Morrissey or something.
I like that they introduce, like, I give it to D'Lo Brown. He's always trying to put the W in there, but Striker's just like, no, Morrissey is a great. He tries to work in the W standing for win, and Morrissey, he puts the W in W Morrissey. Like he's tried, like Striker tries, and D'Lo Brown, and I love their commentary team. They make the show so much more entertaining.
Yeah, no, I agree. They're great. Next up, we get the second episode of All About Me with Tennille Dashwood. And the host this week that gets the chance to interview her is Taylor Wilde. We all love her, right, Phil?
Yes.
Yes. She is fantastic.
Yes, we do.
And she wants nothing to do with Tennille Dashwood. She agrees to team up with her at the pay-per-view, but says they're not a team. They're not friends. She's just going to do this because it's just the next step on her way to the world title. So spoiler, her and Tennille get the victory with the help of Caleb with a K cheating, but Taylor Wilde is not aware of the cheating. So this seems to be a theme in the matches going forward. Eventually, we're going to get Taylor Wilde versus Tennille Dashwood. But Tennille Dashwood is just like this, I don't know, this black hole that just sort of...
it's where the good talent goes to die.
Yeah. So hopefully Taylor Wilde doesn't...
no, she's got to come out. Fate. I know. Everyone, think about it. Kylie Ray got sucked in there, right? Alicia Edwards got in there, right? So it's like everyone is who gets sucked into that doesn't come out on the other end.
So we get an interview segment with Gia Miller, and she's interviewing Kenny Omega, the Good Brothers, and Don Callis, and this may have been one of the most entertaining interview segments of all time. Kenny Omega was on the top of his game. He's holding up the Elite. Too sweet and everyone, and he was like, "You want some of this, Gia?" And Gia goes to do it, and he goes, "You don't get this. You're not ready. You keep working. Maybe you'll get to that level."
Kenny Omega, I'll say it every week till I'm blue in the face, is presented so much better on Impact Wrestling than he is on AEW, even though he had a great showing this week on AEW. But still, when he gets to, I think because he gets to literally, Impact is just so grateful for his presence on this show that they're just like, go ahead and don't even think about what you're going to say. Just go out there and say it. It has to be, because you can just tell he's thinking off the top of his head when he does it. Kenny Omega is so good as this character. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, and another great thing, the internet fans have been making such a big deal that he doesn't wear the Impact titles. So what did he do this week? He wore all 3 titles stacked up until it came up to like right under his neck.
Because who was it? Bully Ray who got mad that Nakazawa had it on there. But that's the point. That's why you don't think Kenny Omega knew what he was doing when he had Nakazawa wear the Impact Championship. He totally knew what he was doing. He wanted people to boo him and get more eyes on AEW. This is exactly what he wanted.
All right, match 4, Carl Anderson with the Elite versus David Finlay with Juice Robinson and Eddie Edwards. Eddie has brought Kenny back, Kenny the kendo stick, so now they have a Kenny in their corner. Everyone's cheating on each side. Eventually, everything goes wild, and David Finlay gets the win.
Because Kenny Omega comes in and hits him with the axe handle to break up the submission.
Yeah, so this is leading into the main event of Under Siege. It's not the last match for this episode. I thought it was kind of odd that they didn't finish with this match since it was the go home show. But anyway, Under Siege, Eddie Edwards, Juice Robinson, and David Finlay, they defeat Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers when Eddie Edwards hits Carl Anderson with the Boston Knee Party.
Are they gonna do it?
They're not going to do it.
They're not going to do it.
They're not going to do it.
What they need to do and what they're going to do are 2 different things.
Yeah, absolutely. Scott D'Amore's probably watching this show, and he was like, Mark and Phil, they're good kids, but I'm not going to give them Eddie Edwards versus Kenny Omega, but I'll give them Eddie Edwards and Finjuice versus Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. Maybe that'll satisfy them. It doesn't, Scott.
We want Eddie Edwards to win the championship, to claim Mr. Impact. Even though we know that even though that match, I don't know how Moose is gonna lose, right? To Omega.
Yeah, I think it's too soon.
Right, agreed.
Yeah. Mo Big says, so basically I would be the Kenny Omega of this chat. Absolutely, Mo.
Mo's on all 3 shows, so why not?
All right. So then we get a backstage segment with Chris Sabin. He feels guilty of James Storm getting injured, and he wasn't in James Storm corner. Later tonight, he's teaming up with Matt Cardona and someone else against Moose, Sami Callihan, and Chris Bay. It'll come to me. We also get another backstage segment. Jordan Grace and Rachel Ellering. Jordan Grace loses to Tasha Steelz in a Before the Impact match, and she's still like pissed off about it. And Rachel Ellering's trying to motivate her and say, use that anger for our match. Well, spoilers, that motivation doesn't work because Fire and Flavor are Impact Knockout Tag Team Champions again.
What are they doing with Jordan Grace, man? We say it every week. This has got to be it, right? This has got to be it. She's not coming back.
She just re-signed.
Did she really?
Yeah, that's the report. Yeah.
Oh, girl, get out of there. They ain't treated.
Maybe she's going to turn on Rachel Ellering.
They need maybe they just need to put Jordan Grace back on the top.
Yeah, agreed. All right, match 5. We got a lot of matches last week. Brian Myers versus Crazy Steve. Myers back to his winning ways. He hits the roster cut on Crazy Steve. He's in a feud with Decay. He faces uh, Black Taurus at the pay-per-view, and he roster cuts Black Taurus as well. He's back on track.
What his push has been decaying with this. What is going? what are they doing with this? Is I gotta say the last month of Impact has been so weirdly booked outside of the Kenny Omega stuff. Don't you kind of find that? Don't you kind of find it with Finjuice? I think it all started with Finjuice winning the Impact titles. Like that was cool, but you expected them the Good Brothers to get the belts back. But it's just been so weird this past month or so when it comes to Impact booking.
Yeah, no, I agree. Finjuice not being there for a while, there was a big hole in their tag division. They just had a match at the pay-per-view to see who the number one contenders are for the tag titles. It's Ace Austin and Madman Fulton now. They went from having a stacked tag division to having like a barren tag division that now, Ace and Madman are your number one contenders. The Machine Guns aren't a team. Triple XL were getting a good push, but then it didn't go anywhere. It's the North is
Ethan Page is doing jack shit on AEW.
Yeah, no, they should have put Myers and Cardona together.
I would have loved the Cardona heel turn and have both Myers and Cardona working together until Myers ultimately turns on his friend again and becomes an even bigger dick heel on his way to the championship.
Yeah. Eddie Winkler says, got to get back to fulfillment. I'll catch the replay. Hope you all have a great night. Thanks for joining us, Eddie, man. And I'm looking forward to getting my Sovereign Wolf book. Phil, the boxes that he made for fulfillment, incredible.
Remember, Leeward called me out for admiring Eddie's box on Best Friend Show.
All right, main event time. We got Moose, Sami Callihan, and Chris Bay versus Matt Cardona, Trey Miguel, and Chris Sabin. The Good Brothers and Don Callis are watching this backstage. Don Callis looks very nervous. Sami Callihan gets the win, and Don Callis doesn't seem happy. They're teasing Sami Callihan eventually against Omega, which further leads, I think, would lead us to believe Moose isn't winning at this next pay-per-view.
No, it's funny because when this match started, I'm like, man, Moose and Sammy, right? And then you're like, Chris Bay, and then Matt Cardona, Trey Miguel, and then Chris Sabin, and you're like, oh, poor Sabin is eating this pin for whoever's on the other side because Cardona's not eating it, and they're building up Trey Miguel, and so, but I do like this slow anti-hero Sami Callihan that they're building up against Kenny Omega. I think it's going to be an interesting match.
Yeah, definitely. And the backstage stuff between Sammy and Don Callis have been awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's Impact. So we already said Moose is the number one contender. He won the 6-way match at the pay-per-view. I don't think there was any other events at the pay-per-view that we need to fill people in on. But yeah, overall thoughts on Impact? Been a little shaky, like you said.
It's been a bit shaky. Listen, the in-ring quality has not dipped. The storyline quality has been so weird, so weird. I think they need some Wrestle House back in there. Something to maybe make Swingers Palace a little bit bigger to bring everyone in because P.D. Williams and his Steiner math is really not doing much for me. So I think they just need to ramp up the storylines a bit and not sacrifice them for these weekly pay-per-views.
Yeah, that's another thing. This week's Swingers Palace was kind of unmemorable. You
Right.
just reminded me of the big thing was Alicia Edwards is now a Swingerella.
Yeah. I even forgot about that. And we
Yeah.
know Johnny Swinger, friend of the show, guest on the show.
Yeah, no, we definitely need more Johnny Swinger. He was on the pay-per-view too. There was a little segment where Hernandez threw Triple XL out of Swingers Palace,
Mm.
but that doesn't even lead to anything. So,
All
all right,
right. So AEW Dynamite. Another weird show.
what's up,
Don't,
Edwin?
before we get into it, did you feel like this episode was kind of weird for
Um,
AEW?
how so?
I felt like they tried so many with the champagne squirt down like the Hogue. I think they all their segments had the potential to be good, and all of them fell flat.
Yeah, that I mean, we'll talk about that champagne segment
Yeah.
scene, but yeah, I hate when they rehash other people's stuff.
Mhm. Yes, and I'm not a fan of that. That was really cringeworthy for me. And it didn't even come off well at all because Sammy Guevara couldn't hit the broadside of a barn when it came to get hitting the pinnacle.
I was going to say he looked like he was having a blast away. It seemed like he was targeting Sean Spears specifically.
Yes, yes. So the show opened up with an IWGP United States Heavyweight Title match. IWGP US Champ John Moxley with Eddie Kingston versus Yuji Nagata with his young boy. Ultimately, Mox gets the win. Came out the Wild thing. So I
I
guess
loved this. This was awesome, I thought.
I liked it a lot better than his regular theme music. I was actually hyped for it. I was like, "Oh, this
Yeah.
is cool." I hope Tony Khan spends the money to make it his regular theme.
Yeah, no, I thought this match was a lot of fun.
Mhm,
It had a big match fight feel to it, especially with Mox coming out to the new music.
mhm.
Um, yeah, just good stuff.
And
Cage says Sammy is the best part of the inner
yes,
circle
he
right now.
is. Yes, totally agree 100%. The kid's the next big face of the company. I honestly believe that. I feel like he's almost WCW Jericho right now. He's on the cusp of being that great performer. He just needs a little bit more seasoning.
So what was after the Mox
So,
match?
during the Mox match, Lance Archer watched. They showed Lance Archer watching from the crowd. Do you think he's going to New Japan, or do you think he's going to? They're going to wrestle for the belt on television,
Uh,
or they just don't know what to do with Lance Archer, and it's a friendly
I,
reminder that he's there.
I'll go with option C.
Friendly reminder.
Yeah,
He should be the no longer the Murder Hawk monster. He's the friendly reminder, Lance Archer.
yeah.
Um, So then next up we had an interview segment between Ortiz, Hager, and Guevara. Ortiz is the freaking man. He cut such a great promo talking about Santana being arrested because he won after MJF's eye. Talked about that Jericho who is legit injured, definitely has a dislocated elbow, and asking for a rematch. And they said that there will be hell to pay during the Pinnacle's basically presentation tonight if they don't agree to it.
Yeah, no, this was a great promo.
Mhm.
It's good to see like the Ortiz and Hagar are probably like the two members of the inner circle that get the least shine. So it was nice to see Ortiz, get that moment.
It really felt like a more well-rounded faction when it was just the three of them speaking, don't you? Because Jericho is Jericho. He takes that all the time. So I love the fact that these guys sort of got that time to shine.
Yeah, no, good stuff. And so
Hey, be right back. But next
Yep.
up, the Cody Rhodes promo.
All right. So Cody Rhodes comes out and he talks about it's like the standard Cody Rhodes big. It has this epic feel to a promo. Basically, he's saying in his next match, uh, he's not facing. It's not going to be the American Nightmare. He's going to be the American Dream, which was pretty cool. That's his father, Dusty Rhodes. Um, but I am completely drawing a blank on who Cody is facing at this next event. Phil's the AEW guy. I'm the Impact guy. Darren Wagner. Yeah, we do love good stuff. And then that's my go-to phrase. Um, but just speaking on the inner circle, and the whole champagne truck, Sammy Guevara was at. Phil didn't like it. I hate that they recycled the beer truck and the milk truck angle from WWE. But Sammy looked like he was having a blast shooting the champagne at the Pinnacle, and it looked like he was especially targeting Sean Spears. I don't know if that's because he was just like ribbing Sean Spears, or it's because that's who he's paired up with in this angle. But I just thought it was funny, and I also liked how Tully Blanchard just sort of like, as soon as he knew that stuff was starting, he like walked out of the ring. Um, I also like how when the Pinnacle was having their big ceremony, who was it? Cash Wheeler. Tully commented on the beautiful women with him, and Cash Wheeler was just kind of like, yeah, they're so. Hicksville, and I keep mixing up the name with the guy from Double Dragon. Phil, who is Cody facing at the pay-per-view?
Anthony Ogogo.
Oh, no wonder I couldn't remember.
The whole thing was to bring back the he's gonna wrestle for one night only as the American Dream.
Yeah.
Because he got why is Anthony Ogogo a thing?
He's a big deal in the UK.
This almost feels Jinder Mahalish. Like, hey guys, we got this guy who could go to a big demographic. Let's skyrocket him to the top.
The difference is I like Jinder.
Yes, me too. Me too. I agree. I don't like this guy. His finisher is weak sauce. He doesn't know how to strike properly because he did it for real and as a living, right? He has no move set. He really relies on the "you gonna boo me" sort of heat, and I hate that. Whenever like, yeah, you boo me, like I can't stand that type of heel. Earn your heat, and it's just Cody Rhodes storylines don't impress me whatsoever. It feels like.
I'm going to say I thought his promo was good, but all his promos are good, but I don't think they're as epic as he thinks they are,
yes.
or as his wife tweets they are.
Like he builds them up, and you're like, okay, yeah, right. And he's like, that was the best promo ever. And then the only time he really ever backed up something, right? You had to remember who the wrestlers he was up against: Nick Aldis, right, and Brody Lee. Two guys who it's hard to mess up being in the ring with. And those two guys put on epic battles with him. Cody can't carry storylines or guys like Anthony Ogogo. It's just not going to work. I think we're starting to learn a little bit more about Cody Rhodes. Is he's a guy who needs a championship to stay at the top of the heap, or a Shaquille O'Neal.
Johnny Cage says, "Can we add the stipulation that if Cody loses, we'll have to remove that ugly neck tattoo?"
Loses, he'll have to remove that ugly neck tattoo. It ain't going anywhere, unfortunately. I thought it was a henna tattoo. Like when it first came on there, I'm like, is this real?
What's next, Phil?
All right, so next up we have title versus team match. The Young Bucks versus SCU, where If SCU wins, they become champions. If the Young Bucks win, SCU is no more.
This match was awesome, man.
I hate that this is Awesome Chants. I think they're the most overrated, most overused chant in professional wrestling. This was awesome. When I gotta say, Matt Jackson is absolutely tenfold better as a heel. When he did the Shawn Michaels to Ric Flair, I'm sorry, I love you, and then he did the kick. That was brilliant. It was so good.
Yeah, the only thing, AEW or TNT, whoever you want to place the blame on, they ruined the moment after the loss to go backstage instead of keeping the camera on Kaz and Daniels, who they're done as a team, and you could hear the fans chanting for them. We didn't get to see this.
This was so weird. I'm like, please don't. Why are you trying to get to this backstage interview? But no, keep it, because this was something that I wanted to see. It's more of the Moxley Kingston elite thing, and that this was not the time to do it.
Flipping stuff over in the dressing room, which was ridiculous.
No.
But I will say AEW is really pushing the boundaries on blood.
I'm loving it. That was such a good spot. Their blood makes sense though. You know what I mean? Like something has to happen for them to bleed. And even though but that spot for Christopher Daniels going into the ring post, it just happened so quick, so fast. Where even Shivani was caught off guard, going, "Oh my God, he's bleeding."
Yeah. Hicks Villain wants to know: Do we think the rumors of Cody and the Elite backstage VP heat is real?
Yes, I'm gonna say yes. I think because Cody always seemed, even beforehand, he seemed to push himself into this role. You know, I think Cody's a fantastic wrestler. I don't think he's as fantastic as Cody Rhodes thinks he is. You know, I think Cody Rhodes thinks he's more important than he really is. And all the elite stuff is so good. Having the Good Brothers and having Don Callis and having this belt collector gimmick and having the Young Bucks go back to being the Young Bucks, I can see Cody's feeling like, oh, I'm not in the main event picture anymore. Well, that Tough Rocks, pal, you're the one who gave up the title and put the stipulation that you weren't going to ever wrestle for the AEW belt. So
I haven't really even heard like what this heat is about. Did the Bucks try to recruit Flip Gordon again?
No, it's apparently they have real differences when it comes to booking and storylines, and that Cody is feeling pushed out by the Elite. They feel like the Bucks and Omega are having too much say when it comes to storylines now. But when you're the hottest thing in pro wrestling, sorry, Cody, you're not. Cody, you may have been on WWE, but you're not bigger or better than the Bucks and Omega. He does the sort of, as The Rock would say, know your role.
I'm going to say this is storyline they're working us. Hicks Villain says not giving SCU an in-ring send-off was a bad look. CD had a great promo on being the Elite today. I haven't watched it yet. I'll have to check it out once we're done. Johnny Cage says all that blood is setting the business back 30 years. Not the zombies, though. The zombies are okay. The zombies are fantastic, man.
Zombies and blood, just keep it coming. Please, please. Just WWE can the only thing they can't do is steal my gimmick. I won't allow that. I'm still so salty.
We're going to have a main event on a pole match between you and Jey Uso.
Special guest referee Vince Russo. So next up, we had a backstage segment where Dasha interviewed Christian Cage. Right? What was this?
I can't even tell you I remember it.
I don't know what was going on. Christian is like, I want to see you. I know it's not Taz, but Taz, come to the ring, Taz. But also Brian Cage, come to the ring. But also Ricky Starks, come to the ring. And I'm just like, what is going on with this promo, Christian? The whole Christian booking is also another weird sort of storyline.
Tony Khan has too many toys to play with right now.
He does. He does. But next up, we had the AEW World Championship Eliminator match. Number 1 ranked Orange Cassidy versus number 2 ranked Pac. This match was awesome until Orange Cassidy got hurt.
Yeah, this match sort of went how I thought it was. You knew something was going to happen between Kenny and Orange Cassidy just because of the interaction last week on Blood and Guts. So now we're getting a 3-way because we're keeping Pac in the picture because Pac's the only person who has like beaten Omega in I don't know,
in
the last year.
Yeah, he's the only one who's beaten Omega in singles competition. Because remember, the match with Moxley was unsanctioned, so he doesn't count that match. Right, didn't happen. So this is so Pac still has that. Orange Cassidy, this is the spot he needs to be in. This is gonna be. We're thinking Orange eats the pin at Double or Nothing.
Yeah, I mean that's what I would think.
But I think it ultimately builds to a one-on-one match between Omega and Orange. I think the money's, they can get us with so many false finishes, and we'll end up rooting. If it's one person that can get me to root against Kenny Omega, it's Orange Cassidy. Like, just because you want to see the big surprise upset. He's got that Daniel Bryan quality about him.
Yeah, it's still. I'm still talking about being salty. I'm still sort of salty on the booking of Orange Cassidy since his program with Jericho. I'm glad to see him in this main event picture.
Right.
But he pretty much went through 50-50 booking to get to this.
Hey,
he hasn't been really dominant at all.
It's sort of the Bruce Pritchard sort of way of. He doesn't need anything to increase his popularity or his standing, so he doesn't really need the title, and he's going to be over whether he wins or loses. Almost like WWF Jericho. If Sammy Guevara is WCW Jericho, then Orange is almost WWF Intercontinental Champion Jericho, where he's never going to get to that main event level unless they make it a storyline and they cement his legacy. So I saw Johnny Cage beat me in the chat as I was getting to the point, but I would love to see Cassidy win the belt from him just for the hell of it, just for the amazement of something that will happen.
Yeah. Hicks Villain says, I forget Christian is in AEW and who's feuding with Team Taz week to week. Yeah, it's
right now it's Hangman Page and Christian Cage.
Yeah, there's just too much talent for Tony Khan to work everyone in. I don't even know. I don't watch Elevation or Dark. Do they carry over these storylines into that, or is it just for all the basically underneath talent to get in some matches?
Well, Todd's Truth. Did you see his comment in the chat?
Oh, there we go. Yeah. If you don't watch Dark Elevation and Dark, you won't know what's happening on Dynamite. Watch my reviews of them.
All right, Todd.
There you go, Todd. Thank you. I'll have to watch. And
we'll have to get Todd on the show too sometime.
Johnny Cage says, I think they'll keep Omega winning until they can bring Ibushi to kick out of the one-winged angel again.
Ooh.
Ibushi. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
No, that's ultimately I do believe is going the Hangman Page route, and I think they had to sort of cool him down, hence the loss. But this is why I like Omega as champion. Look how many contenders we're going to get, as opposed to when you had Moxley as champion. The challengers are just so much better because one thing AEW does right is build faces.
Hicks Villain says, as long as you get a string of wins on the Darks, a couple Dynamite losses are okay. Is it though? Because some people don't watch Elevation or Dark, like me. Only time I paid attention is when I had my fantasy guys wrestling on those matches.
We're gonna have to get it running sooner than later because it's gonna get me back interested in AEW Dark.
We can start earlier. It's just that's going to be a long season if we end at WrestleMania.
Let's go do it. Let's go do it. We're gonna suffer like we do with WWE. We will suffer along.
You gave up pretty quick on a 6-month season. So
I gave up pretty quick when I realized that my team was not suited with it. Didn't have enough Impact guys, and by the time I tried to get Impact guys for their weekly papes, you had them all. I had Moose, and then Moose decided to go on sabbatical during that time. So I said, "Oh, I'm screwed." And the Street Profits, they fell off the earth.
Yeah, no, they were looking like they were the league MVPs, and then they ran into the Dirty Dogs.
God, don't remind me. Jesus. Now the Mysterios are tag champs. Jesus.
Oh, we got Dexter Weeks here. What's up, Dex? All right, what's next, Phil?
So next up, we had we talked about the Bucks seeing the destroyed room. Then we had Marvez backstage with Adam Page and the Dark Order. It sets up Adam Page versus Brian Cage at Double or Nothing. That's basically it.
So I really loved Dark Order trying to recruit Adam Page and them sort of like following him around like a puppy. Now that he's part of the group, I don't really care.
Like, well, he's never been associated. Like, he's never said I'll join. Like, so it doesn't make sense. Like, losing Brody Lee was. I mean, you're never gonna come back from that. And I think we're slowly realizing the Dark Order as faces is not gonna work unless they get Adam Hangman Page full time on there. But just being like, hey, we love you, we love you, we love you. It's not working. You got to build up Uno and Grayson to be your leads again because that's when it's getting really good.
Yeah. Dex says, what about the zombies? Dex, you missed it. We talked about the zombies early on, but Phil hasn't seen it yet. I absolutely loved it.
I cannot wait to watch it.
If you have the Peacock Network, go watch it just for that match. It's awesome. Miz and Morrison, they get eaten by zombies after the match.
So next up, we have a sit-down interview. This is our the AEW's obligatory women's spot, all back to back to back. We had an interview with Jim Ross and Britt Baker. Then we had a squash match by Thunder Rosa, and then we saw an earlier interview with Jade Cargo.
Oh, Dex must have watched it. He enjoyed it as well.
I can't wait to watch it. I'm so excited. After this, I'm gonna get myself some dinner, grab a beer, and watch the zombies.
So the interview, the sit-down interview with Britt Baker, I thought was fantastic. She's a star. She's the top a woman in this division. There's no denying it. Yeah,
this is her time to take the championship and just run with it.
And then the Jade Cargill segment, she was saying that no one speaks for her. Mm-hmm. I really think someone should, though.
Yes. Yes. And then it's main event time.
Hicks Villain says Jade's gimmick is she's looking for a manager, then saying she doesn't need one. Yeah. I think I would love for Mark Sterling to be her manager. I don't think it's going to happen, but I thought it was nice to see him pop up on Dark, even though I say I don't watch it. When I saw that he appeared, I went and watched that segment. Todd's Truth. What? Britt can talk? Now talk, but still is a crappy wrestler. Come on. Britt is fantastic.
I think it's a little too harsh, Todd.
She's no Taylor Wilde, but she's pretty good.
Yes. Agreed. Tenfold. Taylor Wilde's become the sweetheart of the pod gods.
Yeah.
Ever since she debuted, we're like, yes.
Taylor Wilde is the new Ethan Page of La
Yes,
Podcast.
yes. Our heart has been filled. It did not take long. I didn't expect to bounce back this quickly, losing such a love for Ethan Page and
Yeah.
seeing what's happened to him. But Taylor Wilde has filled that tenfold.
Johnny Cage says, so we all agree that Darby is the only person allowed to do dives from now on, right?
Yeah, yeah. But this week we have TNT champion Darby Allin in the main event versus the best man who's got officially a new gimmick change. He is the oiliest wrestler, Miro.
Yeah. So we're in agreement. It's Miro.
Yes.
Yeah.
So oily, Darby Allin's face paint just slid right off onto it.
Yeah, no, he came out and I think he watched the show and he listened a little about rubbing it into the chest,
He
but
shaved a little. He shaved the chest hair a little. He knew that he's been watching the show. He's been seeing the glisten. So not only did he do a trim, but he hashtagged rub it in. He was able to rub it in. It was a great moment for Miro. And look what happened.
yeah, so I would like to congratulate Miro on becoming the oiliest wrestler of the week, two-time winner.
Dude, I love the graphic. Look at that. You can just see on the picture. Look at the match hasn't even started, and the oil is just glistening under those collarbones. The trapezius are popping, highlighting that perfect oiled chest.
So Amanda, yeah, this is your winner. Hopefully this isn't a letdown. It's a repeat performance, but the man deserves it. Definitely the oiliest wrestler of the week.
Listen, we're not here to have a crooked voting system. It's if the man is two-time winner so early in the game, he has to be the two-time winner.
No, Amanda seems happy. Leroy's not here, and this is really Leroy's award. He's the one who demanded it. So hopefully I'll catch this on replay. Leroy, hopefully you enjoy. Dex seems to be very happy with our choice. Mm. But Miro, so impressive this week. He just destroyed Darby Allin, and I loved it.
As I love this match. This match was phenomenal. This is the Miro I've wanted to see. This is the Miro that I'm loving, the crazed, insane Miro. This is what we've been waiting for, even from the WWE. I'm sad to see Darby lose the title because I think yes, I agree with Johnny Cage. It's hard because he was doing such a good job with it and having Sting in there. But I think Miro is about to just take it and just run with it. I see a nice, entertaining, memorable TNT championship run with Miro.
Johnny Cage says Sting sucked though.
Oh,
I love Sting, but Sting looked like he could care less about
That's
being out there.
Honest to God, I thought the only reason Darby dropped it was because Sting is like, I'm sick of this shit. I think Sting is. I think Sting is just like us. He's still so tired of the fake snow coming down. It's hot in Florida. There's no more snow. Winter has came. Winter is gone. Sting needs a new thing.
Yeah, old man Sting was like, I'm sick of this.
Yes. And after the match, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky attacked Sting until the Dark Order came out. And then we saw the friendly reminder, Lance Archer, come out and point to TNT champion Miro as Jake the Snake held him back.
Yeah. So what's going on here, Phil? Sting and Darby against Ethan and Scorpio Sky?
Probably. I was going to say, yeah.
And after weeks of Lance Archer being involved in Sting and Darby, he's now going to be paired off with Miro?
Yeah. It's so weird.
Sting kept fighting off baby faces week after week to protect Darby, but when Miro tries to kill Darby before the match, the Icon does nothing.
But let's face it, I don't think Sting wants any part of Miro
No,
at all,
absolutely not.
even in storyline and breaking kayfabe.
Well, you know what it is? He was like, this man's baby oil game is on point. I
Yes.
respect it.
I saw what his chest did to Darby Allin's face paint. The hours I put on this, I'm not letting it go on Miro's abs now. I'm not gonna have like washboard my makeup off on Miro's abdomen.
Well, you remember Surfer Sting? He was an oily guy. He was
Yeah, he
all shined up. He was
game
like, respect.
recognizes, yes, game recognizes game. Oily wrestler. You know what? We're gonna have to do a throwback love for oily Surfer Sting.
Todd's Truth says, I love when Miro stared at staying and just smiled. Yeah, Miro's fantastic. It's good to see him finally get his due, get away from the stupid best man in video game gimmick.
You know what? I'm willing to eat some of those words about that gimmick because it did end with Psychotic breaking Kip Sabian's arm, saying, "But I forgive you," and then get him to break up Shivani and just have pick out of a hat. It is Darby Allin. This is the one. Like, I love Psycho Miro. It's hysterical. I'm so excited.
Leandro says, just speed watch backlash. Uh, what the F was up with the zombies? I love Damian Priest, very talented Puerto Rican. Did you guys touch the Pinnacle inner circle rematch?
This is, we saved the best segment for the last segment. The most disappointing. This is, where does this rank? Does this rank above or below the MJF Jericho sing along?
Below it. I enjoyed the sing along. You hated it.
And this ranks below that.
Yeah.
Because they rehashed a segment that has been done to death. When Steve Austin did it, it was revolutionary. It was awesome. It was amazing. I never heard my dad laugh louder and harder in his life. I'll never forget it. When Kurt Angle did it to Steve Austin, that made all the sense in the world with the milk truck. Again, my dad laughed so hard, saying, remember when Austin did this? We have no context for the champagne spray down other than Jericho having the little bit of the bubbly.
Yeah, and the vehicle they came out with just looked like second rate.
Right. The production value on it was terrible. And I love Jericho.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. They ripped off the Stone Cold beer truck. And it came off as a cheap copy of it.
Yeah, it did not come off as original. It did not land where it was. Sammy didn't land some champagne until later in there. It was just awful.
Yeah. It wasn't good. I'm glad we're getting the rematch, but this segment, they could have came to this conclusion some other way.
Yes. Yeah, they could have. I mean, because think about it. The orange juice thing was hysterical, right? When it came to Orange Cassidy, because it developed the storyline further. This was a real quick hitter thing to get the stadiums, and it didn't matter anyway because MJF still had the last word. You know what I mean? So it didn't have the impact at all, and it just felt much like this episode. Great in theory, it fell super flat though.
Yeah, no, I agree. So last week you and I talked about this off air, but we didn't mention it. At least I don't think we mentioned it when we were doing Best Friend Show. MLW, big shocking ending to their I guess mid-season finale. Selena De La Renta killed off, and El Jefe was revealed to be Dario Cueto from Lucha Underground. He's bringing his temple to MLW. I don't know if he's going by the same name anymore, but for all intents and purposes, this is Lucha Underground in MLW.
And we are all in. We love ourselves at the Pod God some Lucha Underground.
Yeah, no, he is a fantastic uh performer. He's like the whole GM evil owner shtick has been done to death,
Right.
except with this guy. He is amazing.
This is his thing, though. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? This is what he's like. I've got like it's almost a Street Fighter. I've got World Warriors sort of thing. Like he's a businessman. He's more Lex Luthor than he is Vince McMahon, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, so they're returning to with new episodes in July, and they're actually filming in Philadelphia. So I bought myself tickets. I'm going to go watch the TV tapings. They already said El Jefe will be there. I'm very excited.
Nice, excellent.
So everyone seems to be excited about the zombies, man. I think WWE might have something. They have to do an all horror pay-per-view.
Yes, the horror show at Extreme Rules is coming back, baby.
Yeah, it better. Whatever. You know, uh, guy from WWE that's watching this.
Yeah,
Shane,
McMahon.
Stephanie. Yeah, probably used to be Mark Carano before he got fired. Maybe Johnny Ace is watching this.
But no, it can't be Mark Carano because these things are happening after his firing. So Mark Carano probably put our ideas where he put Mickey James' ring gear, put in the trash bag.
That's probably why he got fired. They were like, "These guys are talking about zombies. What's the hell? We could have had this months ago."
Exactly right. So now Shane McMahon, John Morrison, Frankie Monet, make a young main event happy, but don't steal my gimmick.
Next week you'll see that he's no longer main event Jey Uso. He's the right hand Jey Uso.
You bet.
All right, I want to thank everyone in the chat for joining us.
Big time
Todd's
chat.
Truth, Johnny Cage, Amanda, Dexter Weeks, Darren Wagner, Mo Biggs, Hicks Villain. I think that might be everyone.
And we got Leandro. We got Amanda.
Leandro.
B. Yep, Eddie.
Oh, Edwin the Ace. We got Eddie Winkler. Thanks so much, guys, for watching. Good stuff, Comic Skater.
Jam creates.
Jams creates. Yeah.
A lot of
bunch
good
of people.
Yeah, we got a audience. We go as you go. So thank you very much for always sticking with us here at the Pod Gods.
Phil, where can people find you at?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at AnimatedPhil, also in the Etsy shop in the link below.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Coney Waves. Make sure you subscribe to Primetime Poulton. Hit the notifications. Go sign up for Viking Wolf. It launches May 28th on Bancroft's channel. And we will see you later in the week for Best Friend Show. Thanks for watching, guys.